Drink up, and let's add a player capability to save data on the player. Alright, we find ourselves back in Intelligent once more, and in this tutorial we're going to be talking about player capabilities, basically saving our custom player thirst, right, our thirst data onto the player. Now, how will that work? Well, for this we're actually going to need a new package in the tutorial mod package, and it's going to be called Thirst. And inside of there we're going to make two new Java classes. The first one will be the PlayerThirst class, and the second one will be the PlayerThirstProvider class. Now, first of all, let's go through the PlayerThirst class. So this is the one that actually saves the data and, does a few basic things around the data, while the PlayerThirstProvider is going to be the actual capability provider. So this will have a private int called thirst, should be fairly self-explanatory, and we'll also have a private final int, and that's just going to be called the max thirst, and that's going to be 10. Now we can also add another one which is called min thirst, and that's just going to be the 0 in this case, so we just have this available to us if we wanted to. So we need a few different methods. First of all, public int get thirst should be fairly self-explanatory, just returning the thirst level at the moment. The next method we're going to need is a public void add thirst, where we basically are going to add a particular, number of, thirst points or, number of water points to the thirst. And this is going to be this.thirst equals, and then we're saying math min thirst plus add or max thirst. Now, why we're using this? Well, the general idea is that if we add anything that is, thirst plus 9, for example, but thirst is already 8, right? Then this is going to be over max thirst, and we basically want to bound it by max thirst. Now, the same thing is going to happen if we sub thirst right here. We're going to say sub thirst, and here we're subtracting the sub from it, and here we actually need to use the max method, of course, and here we want to use the min thirst in this case. So we basically want to say, hey, if we're subtracting the thirst, right, if we have 5 thirst, but we're subtracting 9 from it, right, then we get into the negative values, but in this case, we actually want to bound it by 0. We also want a copy from method over here that's just taking in a player thirst over here, which is going to be called source, and then we're just going to say this dot thirst equals source.thirst. And then we need two boilerplate methods, roughly speaking. The one is called save NBT data with a compound NBT tag called NBT. And this will just do NBT.putInt, and we're going to call it thirst, and we're going to just save the thirst field there. And then we're going to have a public void load NBT data, which is once again also going to take in a compound NBT. And this is just going to say thirst equals nbt.getInt thirst. And now everything should be saved on this player thirst. This is also all that we need for this particular class. And now we can make this available through the PlayerThirstProvider by implementing two new interfaces. We're going to implement the iCapabilityProvider interface, as well as the iNBT serializable interface with a compound tag over here. Let's just hover over this, implement the methods. You can see there's 3 methods that we have to implement, and then we should be fine. Now we're going to need a few things here as well, and that's going to be, number 1, the public static capability of PlayerThirst. So this is going to be a capability of our custom class over here. This is going to be the player_thirst, and this is equal to the capability manager.get a new capability token of type PlayerThirst. And what we're going to do is we're not going to overwrite anything. We're just going to keep it like this. So it is an anonymous class. However, you can see we're not overwriting anything in this anonymous class. And then we're going to say private PlayerThirst called thirst, which is equal to null in the beginning here. And then we'll also have a private final lazy optional of PlayerThirst. And this is going to be the optional equal to a lazy optional dot of, and then just this : create PlayerThirst, which is a method we've not yet created, but we're going to create in just a moment. So let's just hover over this, create this method, and you can see actually we don't even need to do this as a T. We can just say PlayerThirst over here, and we can just say if this.thirst is null, then what we want to do is we want to set the thirst to a new PlayerThirst. We just want to create a new one. Otherwise, we'll just return this.thirst. And then afterwards, we'll just return this.thirst. Right over here, we just want to, in the get capability one, we just want to say if cap equals PlayerThirst. So if there is a PlayerThirst capability present, PlayerThirst, there you go. Then we'll just return optional.cast. Otherwise, we'll return lazy optional.empty. Serialize NBT is actually also fairly straightforward. You can just say compound tag NBT equals a new compound tag. Then we're going to create PlayerThirst data.save NBT, passing in the NBT, and then just returning it. Of course, we're using the create PlayerThirst in this case because it's just going to return the already existing one if none other basically exists. That's the reason why we're basically always using the create PlayerThirst. Same with the load NBT data here, where we just pass in the NBT right there. And that is actually all that we need for the custom capability provider. Now comes the interesting part where we actually have to register it, make sure that it, stays on the player and all of that craziness. Now this is mostly, if I recall correctly, mostly boilerplate code, which is going to be placed in the mod events class over here. So I will do the following. We're just going to copy over method by method. The first one is the onAttach capability player. So you can see this is in attach capabilities event for an entity. So we're just making sure that this is a player. And if it is a player, that they don't have the PlayerThirst capability just yet. And if they don't, then we're just going to add this as a property, you can see, with this particular capability. Next, we also want to make sure that if a player basically dies, so you can see event was death, then what we're going to do is we're going to get the original capability and we're going to put it onto the new player. So that is all that is happening here. Once again, of course, all of the code is available to you in the description below, GitHub repository individual just as well. And what we'll then also have is we'll have the on register capabilities one right here. So register capabilities event, where we just register the actual PlayerThirst class as a capability, and those are the three things that we definitely need to, basically have this. Now, what I will also have is the following. I will also have a player tick method over here, which I'm going to just put in here. You can see. So basically, this is just going to say, hey, every time, we basically have on average every 10 seconds, we're just going to subtract 1 thirst from the player. Now, the reason why I have this is because there's no other way at the moment that we basically subtract anything in terms of thirst from the player. This is why I basically wanted to have this going on. Now, just to also be sure, I think that what we should also do is we should say event.player and then just send a system message. We're just going to say component literal, just like subtracted thirst, just so that we know, things have happened over here, and that should be pretty much fine. Now, this once again is the reason why I said, the system isn't like fully functional yet, or there's, a few things that are kind of weird, because just, subtracting every 10 seconds on average some thirst is definitely not the way that you would want a system like this to work. But now we have the entire PlayerThirst system implemented, except for synchronizing to the client. We're going to look at that in the next tutorial, but for the time being, we can now change the drink water packet over here to, basically also increase the water level over here as well. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to say player.getCapability with the PlayerThirstProvider.PlayerThirst, and then if present, we're going to make a thirst handler over here, and that's going to be the PlayerThirst. Thirst.addThirst. So we're just going to add thirst if we are around it. And then, basically that is pretty much all that we need to do. Oh, this is thirst, of course. So there you go. And then we can also output the current level of this. And then outputting the current level of this is just going to be the same as this one. You can just say, instead of a translatable, we're just going to make a literal over here. And this is going to be current thirst, just so that we know what it is. And we're just going to say thirst. Thirst.getThirst. There you go. And we're going to make this aqua. Now we can do the same thing right here when there's no water around, and instead of increasing it, we're just outputting the actual thirst in this case. And this is pretty much all that we need to do. Now we actually have the thirst saved on the player, but once again, there is going to be a mismatch between the server and the client at the moment. Now this is not an issue for us right now. We wouldn't actually notice this. We will notice this, however, once we add the HUD in the next tutorial. But for the time being, let's look at what we've made right now and see if it works. Alright, fans, so in Minecraft again, and let's just get a little bit of, drinking here. You can see current thirst 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we have at 10. Now, no water nearby, and we actually already seen the subtracted thirst. You can see now it's subtracted, and if I look at it, we have 9 thirst now. So you can actually see everything, pretty much working exactly how you would expect it to. Current thirst is decreasing, like I said, roughly every 10 seconds. That's the rough average. It's, it's not going to be like extremely accurate, because it is just random. So sometimes it's going to be a little bit longer, sometimes it's going to be a little bit shorter. But overall, you can see it is increasing and decreasing. And we can also, get this, and then you can see this. If we actually go outside of the world and go back in theory, this should all be saved. So let's just take a look, and we have 7 thirst. There you go, and now 6 thirst. So the thirst is definitely being saved via the world, but like I said, it is currently not actually synchronized via the client, and I will show you this basically in the next tutorial when we add the custom HUD. But that's going to be it for this tutorial right here. Hope you found this useful and you learned something new. I'll see you all in the next tutorial. So yeah.